Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Amanda N, and today I wanted to talk to you all about the Mandela effect. I've experienced this myself. It's such a weird phenomena, and so I just wanted to go over what it is, why it happens, as well as some examples. The Mandela effect, if you've never heard of it, is when a large group of people believe an event occurred even though it didn't. The Mandela effect got its name when Fiona Broome, a self-identified paranormal consultant, detailed how she remembered former South African President Nelson Mandela dying in the 1980s in prison, although Mandela lived until 2013. Broome could describe remembering news coverage of his death and even a speech from his widow about his death, yet none of it happened. If Broome's thoughts occurred in isolation, that would be one factor. However, Broome found that other people thought the exact same thing as her. Even though the event never happened, she wasn't the only one who felt like it did. As a result, the Mandela effect concept was born. Some doctors believe it's confabulation, or honest lying, when a person created a false memory to fill in the gaps of their own memory. It's not an intentional lie, it's just a way of our brain trying to explain something. Even so, there's a ton of examples where many people have filled in those gaps in the exact same way. For example, anyone who grew up between the 1980s and today will likely remember a series of books, and later a TV show, about a wholesome family of bears, consisting of mama, papa, sister, and brother, as their adventures lead them to learn important lessons about life. What was it called again? Chances are you might remember the Bernstein Bears. However, a quick visit to the kids section of your local library will reveal that this isn't the case. In actuality, this series is called the Bernstein Bears, named after its creators, Stan and Jan Bernstein. This seems like a simple misunderstanding of false memory, nothing to pay any mind to. The problem is the internet nearly unanimously agrees. Why would so many people share the same false memory? I genuinely remember these books as a kid, and I remember them as the Bernstein Bears too. That's not to say that they aren't Bernstein. I can go to my parents' basement, rifle through old books, and see that with my own eyes. But how come so many people believe that it's Bernstein? This article says that the most likely solution or explanation is that all of our minds work similarly. So we all tend to replace those gaps in our knowledge with similar solutions. We're all thinking the same way. For example, it would make perfect sense for Nelson Mandela to have died in prison given the cruel and neglectful treatment he faced. Bernstein is a far more common surname than Bernstein. Perfect numbers seem too perfect and precise, so we may add an extra state to make the number feel more realistic instead of 50 states existing, or maybe we simply mistake Puerto Rico for a state, which is a common misconception. Other examples of the Mandela effect, such as the false memory of chartreuse's color, believing that it's a magenta instead of a green, are not explained as of now, and people fascinated by the Mandela effect are eagerly searching for an answer. Still, Broome herself has said that this is proof of alternate realities, seeing as there's so many examples. While some are common, like Mandela and Bernstein Bears or the Monopoly Man and his monocle, other examples are a bit more out there, like many people saying they believed Mona Lisa had a more obvious smile, or the states thing, believing that US has 51 or 52 states and not 50. It is worth mentioning that Broome is a paranormal researcher, not a scientist or a psychologist, so I'm not really sure how true her theories could be, but she's not alone. One Forbes article writes that communities on Reddit that discuss the subject have over 200,000 members. There are websites, hashtags, and videos with millions of views. All these people remember things one way, even though the evidence points to the opposite. Enthusiasts call evidence of the effects residue, as if there was a timeline that has since been erased and we're only able to see the residual hints of what once was. Another popular theory states that CERN, C-E-R-N, the European Research Center, may have caused a splinter in time and space when it fired up the Large Hadron Collider in 2008 and started flinging atoms at other atoms to discover the roots of the universe. But again, there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever to support this theory. Some believers think that there are endless universes closely aligned with ours, and we shift in and out of them, our timeline in a constant state of flux. Some say the Mandela effect is evidence we're now in the dankest timeline, others say the worst. The theories and explanations are as many and varied as the effects themselves. It's a huge conspiracy, the logo looked like this, we're all living in a computer simulation, this celebrity is dead, this one is live, nothing is real. The reasons and the effects go on and on and on, and some of them are honestly pretty creepy. Now, the term reality residue, according to bloggers and many of these conspiracy theorists, is used to describe the smoking gun evidence of alternate histories, such as a videotape case or a film title, the way that some people remember it used to be. One of these blogs that I found online reads, "The general idea about reality residue is that other realities are out there and we are in the real reality. This kind of old-school conceptualization about what it's like to live in a multiverse gives people a sense that some people have come from certain timelines, rather than the idea that just possibly there is no real reality. Instead, consider the idea that who we are is not so much any physical embodiment of ourselves as it is our conscious awareness, the aspect of ourselves that cannot be created, destroyed, or measured in the way scientists surely wish possible." However, I haven't really seen any proof of this reality residue. Even though this is a cool theory and it kinda hurts your mind in a fun way to think about, I'm not sure that I can believe it. I can, as I said, go through my old books. They're all labeled Bernstein bears, not Bernstein, even if I distinctly remember them as being the latter. This doesn't mean that there's some random man in black that broke into my parents' house and swapped out all my childhood books, does it? That doesn't make common sense, so I can't really entertain this theory. Other sources say that the Mandela effect comes from another effect, the misinformation effect. Many researchers believe that this effect is due to the misinformation effect. Kendra Cherry, 2017, says, "The misinformation effect refers to the tendency for post-event information to interfere with the memory of the original event. Researchers have shown that the introduction of even relatively subtle information following an event can have a dramatic effect on how people remember. Inaccurate eyewitnesses are a prime example of this effect. The human brain can falsify memories so well, people believe these memories to be true. Other explanations, of course, can be due to priming, hypnosis, and misinterpretation when the stimulus was first introduced. The reason this belief is still very popular, even though there is not much research that supports it, is due to the fact that the internet is a powerful tool for spreading information. The information can be false, true, proven, not proven. It doesn't matter. Someone else will read these posts. Many people will read these posts and find that someone else has stumbled onto the same misconception as they have. Whether it be misinterpreting Mandela's death, the Ford logo, or the title of the Bernstein bears, once people create a community based on believing these misconceptions to be true, then their misinformation starts to seem factual. There are also many convincing videos created to support these beliefs, and the fact that the Mandela effect is hard to disprove also makes believers stand by this belief even more. So, even though bloggers might say that we can surf between parallel worlds, there isn't actually evidence of this. Not that this stops anyone from acting like they can do it on TikTok, though. On the topic of us living in a parallel universe and shifting into one, TikTokers claim to have shifted into other dimensions or parallel universes where they live out better versions of themselves. It's like meditation, lucid dreaming, or astral projection, except some of them genuinely seem to believe that you can just swap out your consciousness when you shift. Of course, that doesn't explain why you'd ever want to shift back, why everyone seemingly wants to do this with Harry Potter parallel universes, or how this is different than dreaming at all. Seriously, can someone tell me how this is different than dreaming? It's dreaming, isn't it? It's lucid dreaming. That's all that they're doing. Of course you're gonna end up in a Harry Potter universe if all you do is you write out a script full of Harry Potter. You're filling your mind with that. That's a whole other thing that infuriates me. But anyway, as for the Mandela effect, the parallel universes around us, I don't think they're all that accessible. But still, it's interesting to consider, and I'd be really curious to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you believe that the Mandela effect is really proof of a parallel universe, or just proof that our brains all work the same way, and we fill in those gaps in the same way with things that we might only half remember. Let me know in those comments. Let me know what else you would like to see from me in next week's video or in the weeks following that. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!